Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Criticalex, and if your 7 Deadly Sins screen does not look like this right now with 143 runs and 70 of each ingredient, you may be doing something wrong. So I'm going to back out of this screen now, and I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to explain to you what you should be doing with your energy in cycle with events. And so we've talked about this briefly in different videos, but I wanted to do a different video specifically about it and nothing else, because I feel like a lot of players still aren't really sure how to maximize and most efficiently use their energy. So unlike other games, unlike Marvel Future Fight, for example, 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross goes through cycles of events where they make certain content cheaper. And they do this to encourage farming in certain zones, and then they keep it fresh and not repetitive by cycling through those zones. So up until yesterday, so for a few days up until yesterday, all of the boss battles were half cost stamina. So hopefully you had been going to the boss battles and you had been doing these, and you can farm these after you've played the deathmatch that spawns, and you basically overnight farm these for chalices, for the cups. You can also get awakening materials, but you mostly do it for the cups. So that's what I had been doing for the past few days, and that's why I have almost 100 5-star cups of water. I have 30 something for Demon's Blood because it's much rarer and it's much more frequently used on characters, but I have over 200 of the 4-star variety here. I have almost 300 of the 3-star variety, and you sort of get the point. But now you should not be farming cups. I mean, if you're desperate to get one last chalice to get a character to 6 stars or something like that, maybe you can farm it. But now it costs full price, 20 stamina per run on Extreme. But there's something else that is discounted, and a few players were confused, or a good portion of the community was sort of bamboozled. I don't want to say confused, because the new stamina decrease event is free stages. Now, free stages is a bit misleading. It's not all stages that are free. It's just most of them. So any stages that involve farming things like gear, stages that involve farming things like ingredients to cook for food, those are considered free stages. So right now, their stamina is decreased by 50%. You can see 50% decrease. And it's a very short-lived event. It's a 2-day event, so you really have to get your hardcore grinding in, and you basically have to be grinding 24/7 if you want to make the most out of it. You know, and you'll say, well, but, you know, Alex, I don't have that many stamina potions. Well, that's sort of the point. You'll have certain days of the week, or you'll have certain weeks even, where there are no events and there are no discounts. In those weeks, you should be stockpiling your stamina pots and playing PvP. And then when the days come, or possibly longer, when the weeks come and they have events where certain content is half cost, and you can also have half cost for the Soulgriz dungeons. Those are the big three: half cost for the boss battles, for the chalices, half cost for the free stages, which we have now, and then half cost for the Soulgriz dungeon. And when I say Soulgriz dungeon, I'm just talking about the Soulgriz dungeons that are you spend stamina for. So I'm not talking about these ones. I'm not talking about the keys. I'm talking about the ones in the middle that are for no thank you. The ones in the middle that are for blue, red, and green books, and then stamina pots. These ones will also be deducted to 50% of their cost during these events. So what you should do is save up your stamina pots. Then when a new event comes around, just farm the hell out of that event. If it's a Soulgriz dungeon, you should be overnight farming the red books. Those are the easiest to farm, and you can get books, and you can sell the 3- and 4-star books if you have too many, and you will have too many. You sell those for gold, and you make gold that way. If it's the boss battles, which just ended, you farm for cups and chalices like I've been doing. And then now what you should be doing is, like I said at the beginning of the video, either farming ingredients for cooking or farming for gear. Gear is the other big one for the stages that are considered free. Now, you will need to build up enough friendship or affinity with each of the towns in order to farm the gear. You can easily see what gear you need by going over here to equipment next to the Soulgriz dungeon, and you can cycle through the different sets, and you can see, you know, this is the first town, this is the second town, this is 4th town, 5th town, 6th town. It's pretty straightforward. Now, obviously, most of this gear is trash. Just as a reminder, you want to farm this gear, and maybe a little bit of this gear. But mostly, you'll be farming this gear right here. And you want to be farming, you don't really need the earrings as much, but the first 4 pieces you really want to be farming in SSR variety. Now, if you already have gear sets like I do, you can spend this time to farm for these and just get extra duplicate SSR gears, and then you can salvage those to get awakening stones. So you could use this time to basically farm awakening stones. That is another opportunity. That's another option. You need to put some gold into it, and you do need to spend a little bit more time actively playing because you can't auto farm gear. You have to just do 8 missions at a time. You can see here I have steady effort. You basically do 8, and then you have to go and check in the quest, or sort of complete the quest, and then you do 8, and then you complete the quest, and then you do 8, and then you complete the quest. So this is not really an opportunity, or this is not really an option for auto farming or overnight farming or farming for hours while you're doing something else, because after whatever 30 minutes or less of clearing this stage, you will be done clearing it 8 times, and then your computer will just hang on that screen. So I think most people right now, if they are auto farming, they are auto farming for ingredients. And one ingredient that or one set of ingredients that I can encourage you to farm is the raisin. I gotta go cook them. It's the raisin something and something else something. The reason why I'm telling you to farm those ingredients is for 2 characters that you're gonna want to build up long term. So one that I'm gonna farm here, you take organic fruits and vegetables, which you can see I have almost 400 of. You take sugar, and you take assorted grapes. This is going to make raisin with sugar. Right now, this raisin with sugar is only good as an affinity boost for Merlin. So basically, you're farming ingredients to cook food for affinity, and then you give the affinity, and then you get, in return, those weapons or those cosmetics for those characters. Okay, I have to just spend I'm just gonna spend the diamonds. I don't want to waste time here in the middle of the video fixing that. So you cook this, and this is basically these are the literal and metaphorical fruits of my labor. So I overnight farmed all of those ingredients. I could sit here cooking this for a long time, but essentially what this is doing for me is this allowing me to build up Merlin's affinity quickly. And then this is going to help you in both ungeared and geared PvP, not to mention any other content to use the characters in, because the cosmetics are going to give you stat boosts. So cosmetics are actually really important, and the cosmetics that you get otherwise will need to be bought with real money or diamonds. So it's important to do this because you can't spend diamonds and you know, real money on everything in the game unless you're a huge whale. And even for huge whales, you can't purchase this. You have to use the affinity. I mean, you could just purchase this with diamonds. That would be crazy, but you could spend 20 diamonds doing that for every character. But this is a much more efficient thing to do, especially when it's half cost stamina. So you really need to, it's sort of like long-term planning. This is why I love this game so much, because you are presented with an opportunity to be more efficient. Hey guys, we're gonna make these stages half off. And then you have to sort of plan out in your head ahead of time in your mind, okay, so I really want Escanor. And this is the big one here, guys. I really want Escanor. So I'm really gonna want Escanor's cosmetic, whatever it is, whether it's a weapon or it's an item for his defense, I'm gonna want it. Well, what kind of food does Escanor eat? Huh. Well, guess what, guys? Here is one of the meals. Here is one of the cooking recipes that Escanor eats for his affinity. I'm gonna quickly look up what else he takes in case you don't have these specific ones or you haven't been farming these specific ones. But you sort of get what I'm saying as far as planning ahead into the future. So I'm having a hard time finding, where are you, buddy? I'm having a hard time finding him. Here we go. So you're gonna want, maybe you're gonna want red Escanor and you're gonna want green Escanor, who knows? But the point being, if you go over to him on the on this website here, oh, that's the wrong one here. Let's try this one. Yes, perfect. And we scroll down here, you will see that he gets the mixed caviar canap and the raisins with sugar. You can't really see it because it's kind of cut off, but if you just believe me, maybe if I zoom out, no, it doesn't work. Okay, well, yes, he definitely takes the raisins with sugar, which is what I've been giving to Merlin. Oh, actually, you can see it right here. So you can see the honey caviar. No, you can see the milk caviar. So this is basically good for Arthur and Escanor. So I strongly recommend farming these ingredients and making the milk caviar. You can also make the raisins with sugar, as I've been making, which is good for all of the Merlins and both of the Escanors. You can also make the what is it, grilled chicken wings for Arthur specifically, not for Escanor. But essentially, this is what you should be doing if you're not farming gear right now, and especially if you're overnight farming, you can't farm gear overnight, so you should be farming ingredients. And so I'm actually farming this and the raisins because I know that the raisins are going to be used for Escanor, and I can use them now with Merlin because I've already finished Arthur's affinities. So this will basically serve me twice. It'll serve me for Merlin now, and then I can not only upgrade the level of the cooking recipe, which allows me to make more money with the Hawks thing here, this check your, calculate your blah blah blah. But on top of that, you will be setting yourself up for the future for Escanor. And then you can also do this for basically any other character. You can start farming, for example, people have told me to start farming food for Meliodas to get the food ready for Demon Meliodas, because people are saying that Red Demon Meli is coming soon. So let me just quickly find him here. Here we go. I believe that's the right one. Honey Pudding, yes. So a lot of people have also been telling me to farm these 3 items, especially the Breath of Danafor. Now, of course, this is really good for the Elizabeths and also for the gold increase, but it's also good for all of the Meliodases. So you can also farm this and start getting those cosmetics, or save those cosmetics to unlock whatever it is for blue and red Demon Meli when he comes out. And you can basically just apply this logic to any future character that you really want to sort of max out their affinity for immediately, to get those cosmetics, to make them stronger, to use them in PvP or whatever else it might be. And you can also apply this logic if the character has multiple versions. So there's going to be 2 versions of Escanor. We know green and red. So you're going to need to cook basically twice as much. It takes, you know, you do the math here. It's each one that you add adds 100, and you need to get to 20,000. So you need to cook 200 of these in order to get all the way up to the maximum amount of affinity. Oh my gosh, I didn't cook enough. Okay, so you need to cook 200. So you need to farm, you know, a minimum of however many of each ingredient. You can factor in the costs versus for a normal cooking versus a super success and then an ultra success. But my guess would just be farm as much as possible. If you end up with extras, it's only taking up 3 slots in your inventory anyways. Unless you have too much of it, then it's taking up multiple slots. Actually, it's only groups of 99. So actually, you know what? It will be probably taking up more like 6 or 9 or 10 slots for me, because I have over 300 of some of these. But at minimum, you'll get 30 for cooking 10. So you can sort of do the math there on how much you need of each one, and then start stockpiling that. So this is basically what you really need to be doing with your time and with your stamina when we have events on right now. A lot of players, and I'm just going to show you what my hard work has earned me, and then I'm just going to stockpile all of the rest of these sugar raisins for Escanor, and I'll be able to max out his affinity the day he drops. The day that I get him, which will be the same day that he drops, because I'm going to have really good luck on the banner. Do not curse me. But also, I want to discuss this because quite a few players have... Oh, wait, affection? Hang on, let me... Oh, some cheeky diamonds from, I think it's Meli's... Yeah, from Meli's affection from doing all the chores inside the tavern. Quite a few players have messaged me, and quite a few players have mentioned online and like Reddit and stuff that there was a pretty misleading sort of intersection between this new event, which is labeled a free event, and the notice saying that free stages have the stamina decrease. So that's also why I wanted to cover this a little bit, because if you go over to the event and you head over to it and you go into it, you will see 2 things. One, the stage is marked free, so you expect it to be half cost. And then 2, it's not half cost. So unfortunately, we're going to have to keep farming these at the regular cost, but something you can consider doing, which is actually what I've been doing, is not farming this right now, because this event is on for the next 15 days. So over 2 weeks I have to farm this. This and the dungeons, the boss battles for the chalices that we're just on, it's a very short-lived event. So if nothing is coming next, then you can just wait a couple of days, use all your stamina here farming this, and then when it stops and there's nothing on half stamina, when it's like an empty week with no discounts, then you go and farm stuff at regular cost anyways for these events. That is, I think, a really good efficiency tip for you. And remember, guys, keep doing this every single day. Last but not least, huge shout out to Slim Gogo, aka Idol or Kellen, aka Raging Unicorn. How many names they have, I don't know, but anywho, they posted on the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross subreddit, and you can find it there, that all of the events that are going to be happening for the rest of this week 2 of April. So right now we're in the Thursday, Friday free stage minus 50%. So that is where you're going to be want to be farming either SSR gear or just gear in general, and then ingredients for cooking for affinity. And then on Saturday, the Fort Solgriz dungeons, those books and the XP pots, those are going to be 50% off. So you're going to want to farm those like crazy and farm up books, especially if you need gold, because you'll get 100% more gold from those missions, and you'll be able to sell your excess 3- and 4-star books for even more gold. That's going to last for 2 days as well. And then, as you can see, Monday is going to stop. There's not going to be any minus 50% off stamina for anything. So my advice for you would be go ham on ingredients or gear for the next 2 days. Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, go ham on the Solgriz dungeon for books to sell for gold. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can relax. You can play a little bit more PvP. You can maybe push. Well, you wouldn't be pushing because the weekly reset already happened. But you balance it out, and then you spend your excess stamina that you have after doing your 6 boss battles and doing your 6 death matches on either, you know, other things or on the 2-week event for the True Love Elizabeth thing here, where you can exchange for SSR pendants and things like that. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this before, but you can only exchange 1 SSR pendant per day. So make sure that's the first thing you spend on. As you can see, it's got a timer, it's got a limit. Make sure you always have enough of this every day to at least exchange for 1. Otherwise, you might end up missing out if you skip too many days of getting the SSR pendant specifically. So hopefully this has been helpful, but more than helpful, hopefully this has been motivating. I want you guys to farm. I want you guys to get all of those rewards. I don't want you guys to fall behind of some of these hardcore farmers. So hit those, you know, hit those ingredient missions. Plan ahead for who you want to unlock affinity items for. And, you know, in a couple weeks' time, when you can sort of bathe in the fruits of your labor, you'll be bathing in a nice bath of raisin sugar. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.